Hello. Good evening, and welcome to the fourth episode of Shocking Hour. Today, we have something very interesting for you and I. So, we are going to study equations involving sets. Equations involving sets. Okay, so whilst we wait for others to join, let's go ahead and watch our usual Shocking Hour ad whilst we wait for others to join. All right. So thank you once again for joining today's episode of Shocking Hour. Like I said, we will be looking at equations involving sets in today's live stream. Now, if you have any question as I teach, please leave it in the live chat comment section. The moderator will attend to you and also draw my attention so that I answer your question. And if you don't understand something, just let me know. I'll go back and do the needful so that we are all on the same page as I teach and you also learn from me. Now, like I said, today's topic is about set in mathematics. So let's go ahead and look at what we have for today. Now, before we begin, I would like you to use this opportunity to give the live stream a like, follow, as on my science tutorial, and also make sure to share the link with friends and colleagues who you think may find these live study sessions helpful. Now, like I said, we will be dealing with set, and so the first example we want to look at today, we have the expression, we have this expression root into bracket x minus 3 cube minus 64 is equal to 0. And then the question demands that we solve this equation. So we have to solve this equation. We have to solve this equation. Are we okay? So this is a typical example of an expression or an equation involving set. We call it set because it is dealing with root signs. You can see a root sign over here, and that is why we call it a set. All right, so let's proceed to look at the solution to this particular problem. So I write down my solution. So I repeat my question. I have the square root of x minus 3 in bracket, then cube minus 64 is equal to 0. So this is the expression that I have. Now, for me to be able to solve this equation, the first thing I need to do is to send the 64 over here, the negative 64, to the other side of the equal to sign. I am doing this to make the expression or the equation much simpler for me to solve. So the first thing I do is I move the negative 64 across the equal to sign to the other side. Now once it goes there, the negative becomes positive because we are moving the number across the equal to sign. So from here, I will have my root of x minus 3 cube, the same as I have over here. Then my equal to sign will come, and then my negative 64 comes here and becomes positive 64. So this is now the expression that I have. Now from here, for me to be able to solve and find the value of x, I first of all need to get rid of this root sign in the first place. So in order for me to do that, I have to square both sides. So I need to square both sides for me to be able to remove the the root sign that I have over here. So from here, I square both sides. That is the next thing I am going to do. I have to square both sides. So in doing that, I will have the expression x minus 3 cube here is equal to 64. And then I put square here. I square both sides. And so I can now continue to solve my problem. Now what happens is that the fact that I've squared both sides means that the square here will take care of the root sign over here. So all I will be left with is what I have over here, that is x minus 3 cube, and that will be equal to 64 squared. Now 64 squared will give us 4096. So this is after we square 64, this is the expression that we are going to have. So I believe up until now we've understood all that we've done so far. So the first step we took over here was to send the 64 to the other side of the equal to sign, and we are doing this because we want to have the expression in a much more friendly manner for us to be able to solve. After that, the next step we took was to get rid of the root sign over here, and we do that by squaring both sides of the equation. So we introduce the square to both sides, and then the square will take care of the root sign over here, and then it will square the 64 over here, and this is what we have after that expression. Now from here, for us to find x over here, we need to also get rid of the cube that the expression x minus 3 is raised to. Now to do that, we can either expand the bracket, okay, raised to the power cube, or we try to find the cubic root of both sides. Now it so happens that if you find the number or the value 4096, you can find a perfect cubic value for it. Okay, you can have a number raised to power 3 that will give you exactly 4096. Okay, using your calculator obviously. So from here, what we will do is that we'll find the cubic root of both sides. So we'll apply the cubic root to both sides of this expression. So this is what we are going to have. So from here, we are going to have something that looks like this. So for cubic root, we'll have something that looks like this. So I'm applying cubic root to this expression. So I will have x minus 3 cube, and that will be equal to, then I apply the cubic root to the value 4096 as well. So this is what I have after applying the cubic root to both sides. Okay, so from here the next step is apply cubic root on both sides. So that is what we did. We applied cubic root to both sides. So what will happen over here is that the cubic root will take care of the cube over here for us. So all that will be left with will be the value x minus 3, what we have in the curly bracket over here. And then over here, the cubic root of the value 4096 is 16. So this side, or the right hand side, is equal to 16, the number 16. So from here we are almost basically done, because we have here x minus 3 is equal to 16. Now this expression is in a much simpler format for us to solve. So all I have to do over here is to make sure my x stand alone, and I can do that by moving the negative 3 over here to the right hand side of this expression, and I will get my value for x. So to do that, I repeat my x, and this is equal to the 16 is over here. Then I move the negative 3 to this side of the equation, then that becomes plus 3 over here. So from here, all I have to do is simply add 16 and 3, and that will give me my answer. So the value of x over here is equal to 19, as we can see over here. So this is the answer for this particular expression. So this is the answer for our question. Now you can check the validity of this answer, or you can check whether the answer is correct or not by inserting the value 19 into this expression to see if that is actually correct or not. So if you use your calculator and you insert the value 19 in place of x over here, so 19 minus 3, that will give you 16, and then 16 cube will give you the value 4096, and then the root of that will give you 64, and so therefore 64 minus 64 will give us 0 as our answer. So therefore our answer x, which is equal to 19, is the right answer for this particular question. All right, any questions so far? We can leave the questions in the comment section. Okay, so in the absence of any question, we'll proceed to look at the next example. So for the next example, we are to solve the equation. So we are to solve the equation. We are to solve the equation. Something similar to what we did first. The root of x minus 4 cube minus 125, and this is equal to 0. Okay, so this is the next question we are supposed to solve. Okay, so as always, or as we did in the previous example, the first thing we have to do is to move the negative 125 to the other side of the equal to sign before we proceed to solve the problem. So that is what I am going to do. So in order for me to solve this problem, the first thing I will do is to move the negative 125 to this side of the equation. So I have the root of x minus 4 cube will be equal to, now I have 125 over here. 125. So this is what I have. Now from here, the next thing I need to do is to try and get rid of the square roots over here. The square root sign over here, I need to try and get rid of it. Now I can do that by squaring both sides. So it therefore means that I will apply square to both sides. So I'll square both sides, the left hand side and then the right hand side. That is what I am going to do. I square both sides. Now what happens is that the square over here will take care of the root sign over here. So all I'll be left with from the left hand side will now be x minus 4 raised to the power cube, and this is equal to, now I have the value 125 squared, and so I need to compute that in my calculator. So 125 squared, or 125 multiplied by itself, will give us the value 15,625. So we have here 15625 as the value of 125 squared. Now what we need to do from here, now that we've found the square of 125, what we need to do from here is that because we want to find the value of x, we need to get rid of everything around x. Now the next obstacle we have here is the cube over here. The value 3 over here. We need to get rid of that as well. Now to do that, we need to apply, okay, cubic root across both sides. So what I will do from here is that I will apply cubic root on both sides. So if I do that, I will have the cubic root of x minus 4, this is the power cube, is equal to the cubic root of 15,625. So this is what I have. Now from here, all I need to do is to proceed and simplify this. Now mind you, this is cubic root and not 3 root, the value inside the root. Okay, it's cubic root. So from here, what will happen is that the cube over here will take care of the cubic root over here. So I'll be left with x minus 4 on this side, and this will be equal to, now if I use my calculator and I find the cubic root of 15,625, I am going to get the value 25 as my answer over here. So now I have x minus 4 is equal to 25 as my expression, and from here I can simply go ahead to send the negative 4 to the other side of the equal to sign, and then I can now obtain the value of x. So the value of x from here will be equal to x is equal to 25. Then the negative 4 over here, I send it to the other side of the equal to sign. It becomes positive 4. And so therefore, the value of x over here will now be 25 plus 4, and that will give us the value 9. So the value 9 is the answer for this particular expression. I hope up until this point we understand. Please, if you are watching and you are enjoying what we are doing so far, put some fire emoji in the live chat session. Like I said, my moderator is there, and then he will answer you, and then he will also reply to you. And then let me also know from the live chat where you are watching us from. It will really help us in boosting our views. All right, so this is the second example that we just looked at. Now let's proceed to look at much more complicated said equations, or equations involving said. All right, great. So now let's look at another example. So over here we have a very unique example. So we have to solve the root of 3x plus 1, then minus the root of 2x minus 1, and that is equal to 1. So this is what we are supposed to solve. This is the expression we are supposed to solve. Now, to solve this problem, we will do the exact same thing that we did for the first two examples that we already looked at. Now, this particular said equation is a little bit unique in the sense that, because I have, remember we have 2x over here, we have 3x over here. At the end of the day, we want to find the value of x that will satisfy this condition. So to make the work easier for me to solve, what I will do first is that this side of the equation, I'll move the negative from here, negative root 2x minus 1. I'll move it to the right hand side so that I have only 3x plus 1 over here. So that is what I am going to do. All right, so to do that, or if I do that, I'll have the root of 3x plus 1, and this will be equal to my 1 over here, and then the negative root 2x minus 1 that I sent to the other side of the equal to sign will now become plus root 2x minus 1 over here. So that is what I am going to have. Okay, so this is now what I have from this particular expression. Now from here, all I have to do from here is to now square both sides. Square both sides. Now I'll tell you why we are squaring both sides. We are squaring both sides because we want to get rid of the root signs. We are squaring both sides because we want to get rid of the root signs that we have over here. So this is how it will now look like. So we'll still have our 3x plus 1 over here, and this will be equal to 1 plus the root of 2x minus 1. Now if I apply the square, so this will now look like this, squared, and the whole of this will also look like square. So this is what we currently have. Now this part of the equation, if you can see, it is in the form a plus b squared. Are you okay? We can let the a be 1 and then the root of 2x minus 1 be b. Now if we expand this expression, we are going to get a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So this is the expression we are going to get when we expand something like this. Now, having that in mind, we are going to use this expansion to expand this expression that we have over here. So let's continue and do that. So first, let me remove this. Now, if we do that, before we get there, now the square here, get rid of the root sign over here. So I now have 3x plus 1 over here. So now this is equal to, now using this expression, it means that in place of a over here, I'll put my first term, which is 1. Now the a is equal to 1 in this expression, and then the b is the root of 2x minus 1. Are we okay? So if I copy that, it means instead of having a squared, I'll now have 1 squared over here plus 2ab. The a is 1, and then the b is what? The root of 2x minus 1, then plus b squared. The b is, I'll put it in bracket, the root of 2x minus 1 squared. So this is the expression that I will get after expanding this particular equation. Very good. Now from here, all I have to do is to simplify the right hand side a little bit. Are we okay? Now before we do that, we can cancel some things out. We realize that the square over here will take care of the root sign over here, and that is very, very important. So now we can proceed. So I still maintain my left hand side, which is 3x plus 1. This will be equal to 1 squared is 1, so I write 1 plus 2 multiplied by 1 will give me 2. Then the root 2x minus 1 is also still here. Then plus over here, because the square has already taken care of the root sign, I only have 2x minus 1 over here. Now, if you look at this expression, there are a couple of things we can nullify or cancel out. Now, we have here positive 1, and then we have here negative 1. They can cancel each other out. So this positive 1 will cancel out the one I have over here. Okay, or they become 0. 1 minus 1 will give us 0. So that is why I'm canceling that out there. Now, over here, I can see 2x over here. I see 3x on the left hand side. So I can move the 2x to this side of the expression. So if I do that, I'll have something that looks like this. 3x plus 1. Then the positive 2x over here, I'll move it to this side of the equation. It becomes negative 2x. And this will be equal to, now after moving the 2x, the only thing that I'm left with is 2 root 2x minus 1. So I maintain that 2 root 2x minus 1. So that is what I have over here. Now from here, I need to also simplify the left hand side. If I look at it, I have 3x over here, and then I have minus 2x over here. So 3x minus 2x will give me x. Then I have the plus 1 over here, and this will be equal to 2 root 2x minus 1. So this is the expression that I have. Now, this expression, all we now have to do is to get rid of the root sign over here, and then we'll have a linear equation that we can solve to get the value of x. All right, so let me quickly erase what I have over here so that we proceed to get the answer for this particular question. Now, solving sets requires practice and then patience and just knowing how to move numbers, values, and roots around. You will obviously be squaring a lot of things, so you should know how to multiply sets and how to even cancel out sets. Are we okay? All right, very good. So let me quickly divide this. So the expression we now have is x plus 1 is equal to 2 root 2x minus 1. Are we okay? This is the expression that we have. So from here, all I have to do is that because I want to get rid of the root sign over here, I have to square both sides again. So if I do that, I will have this x plus 1 squared. Then I'll have 2 root 2x minus 1 also squared. So if that happens, now remember we already expand the expression, let's say a plus b squared, and we said we'll get a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. We said we will get this expression. So with that expression in mind, we now have x plus 1 squared. So what it means is that in place of a over here, a is x. In place of b, b is 1. So I will have x squared plus 2ab. So it will be x multiplied by 1. Are we okay? Then plus b squared, which is now 1 squared on the left hand side. And this will be equal to, on the right hand side, I have 2 multiplying the root of 2x minus 1. Now, because the 2 is already multiplying the root of 2x minus 1, I just have to apply the square on them individually. So here, I will have 2 squared, then the root of 2x minus 1 also squared. So this is the expression I will have. Are we okay? Now, all I have to do is to simplify this expression and then I continue. So if I do that, I have here s squared plus 2 multiplied by x multiplied by 1. The 1 and the 2, if you multiply it, is just 2. So it will give me 2x over here. Plus 1 squared is also 1. And this will be equal to. Then I now have on my right hand side 2 squared. 2 squared will give me 4. Remember, it is still multiplying this part of the expression. So over here we have the root of 2x minus 1 all squared. So the square over here will cancel the root sign. So I now have the expression 2x minus 1 multiplying the 4, and this is the expression that I have. Now that I have this particular expression, all I have to do is to expand the right hand side, and then I further continue to solve my equation. All right, very good. So I maintain the left hand side, which is s squared plus 2x plus 1, and this will be equal to 4 multiplied by 2x will give me 8x. Then 4 multiplied by negative 1 will give me negative 4. All right, so from here, to solve and find the value of x, I am moving everything to the left hand side. So I'm moving 8x minus 4 to the left hand side, and I will equate it to 0, and then I solve for the value of x. So to do that, or if I do that, I will have s squared plus 2x plus 1. Then the 8x over here is positive. When it crosses the equal to sign, it becomes negative x, negative 8x. And then the negative 4, when it crosses, it becomes positive 4, and this is equal to 0. Now, all I have to do is to simplify this expression. So by doing that, I see that my s squared is 1, so I maintain that. Over here, I have 2x and then negative 8x. So 2x minus 8x will give me negative 6x. And then the last term I have over here is 1 and then positive 4. 1 plus 4 will give me 5. So I have positive 5, and this is equal to 0. Now, you can see that I now have a quadratic equation. After solving up until this point, I now have a quadratic equation. Okay, so the most difficult thing we've been doing so far was trying to get rid of the root sign, and that is why it took us all this long. to get here. But once you know how to solve it, it becomes faster. And because I'm teaching, I'm taking my time to show you the process one after the other, so we don't rush through things. So now that I have the quadratic equation, I now use the coefficient of the x squared term. How to solve quadratic equation, I believe we know at this point. But if you don't know, we use the coefficient of the x squared term here, which is 1, to multiply by the c term, or the constant, which is the 5. So 1 multiplied by 5 is 5. So you now keep that value in mind. You say 5. Okay. So which two numbers, if you multiply, you get 5. But if you add or subtract, you get -6. Okay. The same numbers, if you multiply them, you get +5. But if you add or subtract, you get -6. Now it so happens that -1 and then -5 are our value. So -1 multiplied by -5 will give me +5. But if I add -1 and -5, I am going to get -6, which satisfies our condition. So therefore, it means that the expression here will become x squared will still be maintained. The -6x over here will become negative x in the sense that it's -1 and -5. So -1x, then minus 5x, and then plus 5 is equal to 0. Now, if you look at it, we've not done anything to the equation. We've not done anything to the equation in the sense that if I still add the -x minus 5x to each other, I'll get the -6x back. So it means that I've not done anything to the expression over here. So now that I am here, all I have to do is to factor out some common terms. Are we okay? Now from here, if I look at x squared and x, the common term over here, or the common factor over here, is x. So if I factor that x out, I will now have x into bracket. Because this is x squared, I'll have 1x left. So x multiplied by x will give me x squared. Then I have the negative here over here. Then what will I have here? So if I multiply it with x, it will give me x. It will be 1. So I write 1 over here and then bracket close. So that is for these two terms, these two guys. Now for the next two guys, I have -5x and then +5. So if I factor out over here, the common value over here is -5. So I'll factor out -5. Then I'll have into bracket -5 multiplied by what will give me -5x. This will be x, and then here it will be -1, and then this is equal to 0. Now if you look at it, if I expand this side, -5 multiplied by x will give me -5x. -5 multiplied by -1 will give me +5. So therefore, from here, you can see that we have x minus 1 common. So we take x and then -5 over here, it becomes x minus 5. Then we maintain one of the x minus 1, so that will become x minus 1, and this is equal to 0. So from here, we can now equate x minus 5 to 0, as well as x minus 1 to 0, and we will get the values of our x. So if I do that, here I will get, so let me, just for the case of this tutorial, let me do it somewhere here. Let me do it here. So in the first case, I'll have x minus 5. That will be equal to 0. So if I send the -5 to the other side, it becomes +5. So I have x is equal to +5 as the first case. And then for the second one, I have x minus 1, and this is equal to 0. Now if I send the -1 to the other side of the equal to sign, it becomes +1. So I have x is equal to 1. So therefore, the values of x over here is x is either equal to 5 or x is equal to +1. What it therefore means is that the values of x that can satisfy this particular expression that we have over here, okay, those values of x are 5 or 1. So if I put 5 into this expression and I solve it, I will get 1 as my answer. Or if I put 1 as my value in place of x and I insert it and I solve it, I'll get 1. Are we okay? Now let's look at that. Let's see how true that is. So if I look at the expression over here, let me take the first one. So let me quickly do that. If I put 5 in here first, 3 multiplied by 5 will give me 15, plus 1, that will give me 16. And then the root of 16 is 4. So we have 4 after solving this. Then we have minus. If I put 5 over here, 2 multiplied by 5, that will give me 10. Then 10 minus, so this 2 multiplied by 5, that will give me 10. And then the 10 minus, which is 10, minus the 1 over here, that will give me 9. Then the root of 9 will give me 3. So I will have 4 minus 3, and 4 minus 3 is definitely equal to 1 over here. And the same thing, if you substitute the value of 1 as well, you will get this exact same thing. So if I do 1 over here, here will become 3 multiplied by 1, which is 3, plus 1, which is 4. And then the root of 4 is 2, then minus, here if I substitute 1, 2 multiplied by 1 is 2, minus 1 is 1, the root of 1 is 1. So here will become 2 minus 1, and 2 minus 1 will still give me 1 as my answer. So you realize that the answer that we found, that is x is equal to 5 or x is equal to -1, are all the same. Are we okay? So please, if you have any question at this point, let's ask. If not, then we look at another example. Any questions so far? Please, you can drop your questions, comments. If you don't understand, you can let us know in the live chat. Like I said, I have a moderator who is moderating, and he will prompt me and I will attend to it. All right, so whilst we wait for questions, let's quickly go on a short break, and then we come back. All right, so welcome back. Proceed to look at another example. Okay, let's proceed to look at another example. So we have another example over here. So we are to solve the root of, into bracket, 3x plus 4 bracket close, minus the root of, into bracket, x plus 5 bracket close, and this is equal to 1. Okay, so this is the problem that we are supposed to solve. Now, just like we did in the previous example, we are going to do the exact same thing over here. We are going to solve this problem the exact same way. All right, so we write down our solution. The first thing we do over here, as always, we repeat the question, that is 3x plus 4, the root of it, minus the root of x plus 5, and this is equal to 1. And I believe as at this point, we've all understood up until this point. Now, the next thing we do over here is that we move the negative root of x plus 5 to the other side of the equal to sign. We need to move it there. So that is what we will do next. So if I do that, I will have my root of 3x plus 4, okay, left, and this will be equal to my 1 will still be here immediately after the equal to sign. But now the negative root of x plus 5 has been moved to the other side, so it becomes positive root of x plus 5. So this is what I will get after moving the negative root of x plus 5 to the other side of the equal to sign. Now I hope up until this point we all understand. All right, very good. So the next thing I'll do over here is that the aim of moving all this is to make the expression or the equation easier for us to get rid of the root sign. And also don't forget that the expression x plus y squared, if you expand this, you get x squared plus 2xy plus y squared. Don't forget this particular expansion, as we'll be using it a lot for this particular case. Now the next thing I will do over here is that I will now square both sides of the expression. So I introduce the square over here, and then I do the exact same thing over here. Now what happens is that on the left hand side over here, the square will get rid of the square root sign over here. So I'll be left with 3x plus 4 over here, and then this will be equal to, on the right hand side, this 1 plus the root of x plus 5 is in the form x plus y squared, where our x is equal to 1, as we can see over here, and then the y will be the expression, the root of x plus 5. This. Are we okay? So if I substitute these guys into this expression, I will have the x squared over here will become 1 squared. So I'll have here 1 squared plus 2xy. So I have 2, my x is 1, and then my y is the root of this. So I have root x plus 5. Okay, then plus my next term, which is the y squared over here. So the y squared is this guy squared. So I have the root of x plus 5 squared. Okay, so this is what I will get after expanding my expression above this. Are we okay? So up until this point, I hope we all understand. Right, very good. Now if I look through, the next thing I can see is that the square over here will get rid of the root over here. So let's quickly do that. The square here will get rid of the root sign over here. So now that we've done that, let's rewrite this. So I now have my 3x plus 4 over here. Nothing has been done to that, so it still remains the same. Then I have equal to 1 squared will give me 1. Then plus 2 multiplied by 1 is 2. Then I maintain the root of x plus 5. Then plus, over here the square has already taken care of the root sign, so I have x plus 5 left over here. All right, so from here all I have to do is to further simplify my expression before I proceed. Now if I look at it, I have I can decide. So I have 1 here, I have 5 here, so I can add them, and then I have an x over here. So I have here 3x plus 4, and this will be equal to the 1 here plus 5 will give me 6, so I have 6. This x is positive, so I bring it here, plus x, then plus 2 root into bracket x plus 5. Okay, now that I have this, I now need to move the 6 plus x over here to this side of the equal to sign. So if I do that, I have 3x plus 4, Then the positive 6 over here to this side will become negative 6. Then the positive x over here to this side will become negative x, and this will be equal to 2 root x plus 5. Now remember, all we did was to move the 6 and then the x to the left hand side of this particular equation. All right, so let me get some space and then we continue. Now, don't forget this expansion. Like I said, don't forget this expansion, as it is very, very important. All right. So from here, all we have now is, so I now have 3x over here minus x. That will give me 2x. Are we okay? And then from there, I now have positive 4 minus 6. And then 4 minus 6 will give me negative 2. So I have here negative 2. And then this will be equal to 2 root x plus 5. Are we okay? So this is the expression we now have. Now, then again, we still have a root sign in this equation, so we have to get rid of it. We do that again by squaring both sides. So in this case, I'll square both sides again, and then we proceed to solve our problem further. Okay, so let's do that. Let's quickly do that. Now, before we do that, we can do one thing as well, right? Now, if you look at the right hand side and we look at the left hand side, we can see that 2 is common. Are we okay? From here, you can either proceed to square or you can further simplify it. For instance, I see we have here 2x, we have here minus 2, we have here 2 root x plus 5. So let's further simplify it, okay? So we divide all sides by 2. So this by 2, this by 2, and then this also by 2. So if we do that, this will cancel this, so we are left with x. Then we have negative sign. 2 over 2 will give us 1. Then this is equal to, this 2 will also cancel this, so we are left with just the root of x plus 5. Are we okay? So now that we have this expression, it is easier for us now to square. Or if you like, you could have still squared the expression 2x minus 2 is equal to 2 root x plus 5. You can still square both sides and still get the same answer, but I just decided to divide through by 2 since 2 is common for all. All right, so from here, all I have to do is to square both sides. So let me do that with a different color as always. So I square here, then I square this side as well. So this is what I will get. Now, from here, remember the expression, this is x minus 1 squared. It is in the form of x plus y squared. Okay, so if we solve this or we expand this, we are going to get x squared minus 2x multiplied by the 1 over here, which is how come we have negative here, and then we have negative 1 squared now, so it will become plus 1 squared, and then this will be equal to the 2 over here, or the square over here will nullify the root sign, so I have just x plus 5 left over here on this side. So on the left hand side, I have x squared minus 2x plus 1 squared, and this is equal to x plus 5 on the right hand side. All right, so from here, all I have now is x squared minus 2x plus 1, because 1 squared is still 1, and this is equal to x plus 5. So from here, I move all the x plus 5 to the left hand side, and then I equate everything to 0. So I have here x squared minus 2x plus 1. Then the positive x here across the equal to sign becomes minus x. Then the positive 5 also becomes minus 5, and this is equal to 0. All right, so over here, let me simplify. So I have only 1x squared, so I maintain that. But for the 2x, for the number with a variable of x, I have minus 2x over here, I have minus x. That will give me minus 3x. Then I have positive 1 and then negative 5. That will give me negative 4. So I have negative 4 over here, and this is equal to 0. Are we okay? All right. So from here, we looked at it. We use the coefficient. This is as always, we've came down to our quadratic equation over here. Quadratic equation. Are we okay? So now that we have our quadratic equation, the next thing we need to do is just to solve the quadratic equation. So I will use the coefficient of the first term, or the x squared term, which is 1, to multiply the negative 4 over here, and that will give us negative 4. So which two values will I multiply to get negative 4? But if I add, I will get negative 3, which is the middle number over here. So it so happens that negative 1, 1 and negative 4 will do that. So we have 1 and then negative 4. So if you multiply them, 1 and negative 4, if you multiply, you get negative 4. But if you add it, you get negative 3. So I have here the expression s squared minus the 1 becomes 1x, so which is still x. Then that is positive, and then the negative 4x will become negative 4x over here. Then the minus 4 here will come, and this is equal to 0. What basically happened here is that in place of negative 3x, we now have x minus 4x. And then the x minus 4x, if you add it, you get back the negative 3x. So we've not really changed the equation. So from here, I just need to factor out the common terms. Over here, x is common between s squared plus x. S is common, so I factor that out. Then I will now have into brackets x plus 1, because x multiplied by x will give me s squared. S multiplied by positive 1 will give me x. Now over here, I have negative 4 common. So I have negative 4 here into bracket x plus 1, and this will be equal to 0. Now if I look at it, negative 4 multiplied by x will give me negative 4x. And then negative 4 multiplied by positive 1 will give me negative 4. So this is the expression that I have now. So from here, let me erase this before we continue. All right, so from here, this is what we will have. So let me use a different color. So from here, I now group the x and then the negative 4 into 1. So I now have x minus 4, and then the x plus 1, and then this will be equal to 0. Are we okay? Now, from here, we equate both to 0. So I have x minus 4. This will be equal to 0. And then you also equate the x plus 1 to also equal to 0. But let's do this one first. So x minus 4 is equal to 0. X will be equal to positive 4, because we move the negative to the other side of the equal to sign. It becomes positive. Now for the second one, we have x plus 1 is equal to 0. Then we now have s is equal to negative 1. So the two values of x are either x is equal to 4 or x is equal to negative 1. So these are the two values that can satisfy this particular equation. Now, x is equal to 4 is the solution since it satisfies the original equation. However, x minus s is equal to negative 1 is not a solution since it does not satisfy the original equation. Now, why are we saying this? What it means is that now after we found the two potential values, remember we said s is equal to positive 4 or x is equal to negative 1. So now that we found the two potential values that can satisfy our original expression, we need to substitute them back to see if we will get 1 as the answer. Are we okay? Now, this, you can simply do this using your calculator. There's no need for you to do the calculation all over again, because when you are solving your work in the exam or during mock or any quiz, you don't have the time to be solving one after the other like I'm taking my time to do over here. You just have to be fast. Now, if you substitute the value of 4 into this expression, if we do that, we will have here 3 multiplied by 4 plus 4. and then that will give us 12 plus 4, and this is 16, and the root of 16 is equal to 4. So this is for this side. Then we'll have the minus sign over here. Now if you put 4 over here, this will become 4 plus 5, and that is 9. The root of 9 is 3. So I have here we had 4, then so here was 4, then minus the 3 we had over here, which is 3, and that will give us 1. Are we okay? So we solve this side and it's equal to 1, as we can see over here. Are we okay? Now let's substitute the value of -1 and see if we we'll also get 1. Okay, so if we substitute the value of -1, we will get -3 multiplied by -1, which is -3 plus 4, and that will give us +1. The root of +1 is √1, so that will give us √1. Are we okay? And then we'll have here minus, over here we have -1 plus, so we have here -1 plus 5, and this will give us 4, and then root of 4 will give us 2. Are we okay? Root of 4 will give us 2. So we can see that we have √1 minus 2, and that will not be equal to 1. Are we okay? That will not be equal to 1, and that is how come we are saying that even though the values x is equal to 4 or x is equal to -1 are the two values that can satisfy this equation, the actual answer is x is equal to 4. So therefore the value of x is equal to 4. So the solution to this problem is x is equal to 4 and not both, as we saw in the previous example. Remember, in the previous example, the two values, which was x is equal to 5 and s is equal to +1, satisfy the equation, and that is how come we said both are the answers. But in this case, only one satisfied the condition of giving us +1, and that is x is equal to 4, and that is the answer. Right, so guys, if you have any question, drop it in the comments. So basically we are done. This is how we solve equations involving sets. Are we okay? And I hope you enjoy the session. Now I would like to give some 2 questions for us to try as homework, so that we try it we try it by ourselves and see the answer that we'll get. But like I said, if you're watching us, let me know the country you are watching us from, whether you're in Ghana, Nigeria, US, UK, where you are watching us from or where you are learning with us from. Let me know in the comment section so that I will give you a shout out. Are we okay? All right, so whilst we drop some fire in the comment section, we type hashtag Shakin Hour, Shakin mode on, and also drop in our countries in the live chat. Let me quickly go ahead and give us 2 questions as assignment for us to do. All right, so let's have a look at 2 questions as our homework. So homework number 1, we are to solve the root of y plus 7 minus the root of 3y minus 2 is equal to 1. So this is the first question, and then the second question is, let's see, okay, so I'm trying to get another question for us. Okay, so the second question over here will be, we are to solve the root of x plus 7 minus the root of this is basically almost the same thing. So let me quickly erase that and find another question for us to use as the second homework. Okay, let's have a look at another question. Okay, so we are to solve. Okay, now this is pretty interesting. So we have, if the root of 3x plus 1 minus the root of x plus 4 is equal to 1, we have to find the value of x Okay, so these are the two questions that we have as our homework. Now, if you look at it, they are basically the same thing. They are just the same thing that we did. The last two examples that I solved are the same as this. So please, let's give it a try out. Let's solve these homeworks, and then let's leave the answer in the chat or in the comment section. Whether you are watching it now whilst we are live streaming or you are watching it later, solve it and leave it in the comment section, and I will reply you with the right answer. All right. So thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate today's session, and I can see a lot of us were sticking behind to see what is actually going on, and I really appreciate that. Okay, so thank you once again, and before we go, let's watch our Shaking Hour ad one more time, and then we call it a day. So thank you so much for watching, and I am off, and I will see you in the next live stream, which is coming on next week, Monday. So the live streams are always from Monday to Fridays, and then we rest Saturday and Sunday, and then we continue the following week. So thank you once again now. Bye-bye.